Welcome to Mystery Stories for Sleep, where the unknown meets the mysterious. Relax, unwind, and let the intrigue carry you into the night. Your journey into the strange begins now.
Ready to talk Halloween movies? Because we are about to go deep.
I'm so ready.
We're diving into how this holiday went from carving pumpkins to carving out its own spot in film history.
And it's a pretty fascinating story, right? It's not just about setting a spooky mood.
Right.
Halloween's whole essence, the costumes, the creepy vibes, it's influenced how we see the holiday itself.
It's true. Just think about it. Like, close your eyes and picture Halloween.
Okay, yeah.
Are you picturing trick-or-treaters or are you picturing Michael Myers?
You got me there. It's Michael Myers every time.
Every time. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's rewind a bit. Did you know Halloween actually made its first appearance on the big screen way back in the silent film era?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Back then it was all about using those classic Halloween images, almost like a shortcut to let the audience know, hey, something spooky's about to go down. Costumes, jack-o'-lanterns, a shadowy figure lurking in the background, that kind of thing. It was pretty basic. Took a while for Halloween to really take center stage.
Yeah, I bet. So let's skip ahead a few decades past all those creaky doors and flickering lanterns and land smack dab in the late 70s. Disco was fading out, and in 1978, John Carpenter's Halloween slashes its way onto the scene.
Talk about a culture shift, right?
Huge! Halloween wasn't just a movie, it literally birthed the slasher genre. Those images we usually associate with fun, with childhood, suddenly they were terrifying, thanks to Michael Myers. Yeah. I bet audiences thought twice about answering the door that year. And Halloween, that was just the beginning. Then came Friday the 13th, another slasher classic, which just goes to show that Halloween, box office gold. But like any good monster, the genre had to evolve.
And that's where things get really interesting, because we start to move away from those in-your-face jump scares to these really messed up psychological thrillers. Movies like Hereditary, The Witch, The Babadook, Midsommar.
Oh yeah.
They're tapping into something much deeper, like those deep-seated anxieties we have about family, tradition, even our relationship with nature. It gets pretty deep.
And those movies, they stay with you, don't they? I'd argue that's way creepier than some guy in a mask chasing teenagers around. So how do these movies hold on to that Halloween vibe while, like, ditching all those slasher tropes?
Well, it's subtle, but it's definitely there. You'll notice they often revolve around rituals, folklore, that unsettling feeling of the veil between worlds thinning out, those themes. Pure Halloween, even if the movie isn't explicitly about the holiday itself, they're tapping into those primal fears that Halloween has always embodied.
You're right.
Yeah.
Speaking of primal fears, it's like the whole world has developed a taste for them, right? Halloween isn't just a neighborhood thing anymore. It's gone global.
Yeah, it really has. I mean,
Yeah.
Halloween's become this worldwide phenomenon, and it's hard to imagine that happening without streaming services, to be honest.
Sure.
They've been huge in bringing these movies to a global audience, like Coraline or the Scream movies. A lot of people watching those might not even celebrate Halloween in a traditional way.
That's so interesting to me. You don't have to, like, grow up carving pumpkins to recognize the pumpkins, the costumes, that eerie feeling in the air, you know? Halloween just has a way of translating.
Absolutely. And I think that creates a really interesting feedback loop. You have more people experiencing these movies, which increases demand for Halloween content. So it just keeps pushing the holiday into the global spotlight even more.
It's like we're hardwired to be fascinated by the spooky stuff, the strange stuff, the things that go bump in the night, you know?
Oh, totally.
It doesn't matter where you're from. But this whole global embrace of Halloween, it got me thinking, like, what's next for the genre? We've seen slashers become these really complex psychological thrillers. Family films are embracing the whimsical side of spooky. Where do we go from here?
That is the million-dollar question. And it's a really exciting one to think about. I mean, just imagine this. You're not just watching a horror movie, you're living it.
Okay, yeah.
VR technology is already starting to blur those lines between what's real and what's fiction. I think Halloween is like the perfect playground for that kind of immersive terror.
Okay, that's both really amazing and really terrifying at the same time. Suspending disbelief is one thing, but I'm good keeping my jump scares contained to the screen for now.
I hear you. But think about it, the possibilities are kind of endless, right? A VR experience that taps into your deepest fears, where every little creak and groan, it feels real. It would be like stepping inside of a haunted house, but on another level.
All right, another level, you sold me. VR isn't the only tech shaking things up, though, is it? We've got AI generating art, even writing scripts these days. So what happens when we point all that AI creativity at horror?
That is a thought-provoking question. What if an AI could analyze your deepest fears, your anxieties, and then craft a horror experience specifically designed to, like, totally unnerve you? Talk about personalized entertainment.
My mind is officially blown. So like custom-made nightmares, AI design haunted houses. I think we've officially entered a whole new realm of things that keep us up at night. But even with all this incredible technology on the horizon, one thing is crystal clear. Halloween and movies, that's a pairing that will never get old.
It's a match made in, well, Halloween just provides this incredible framework for filmmakers, this set of symbols and anxieties that we're all familiar with. And as technology evolves, so too will the way we experience and interact with those fears.
So from those flickering silent films to these super immersive worlds of virtual reality, Halloween has really reflected our ever-evolving relationship with fear, with fun, with everything in between.
It's true.
We've covered so much ground here. Silent films to AI-generated horror, it's pretty wild. But before we send you off to make that Halloween watch list, let's leave you with one last thought.
Okay, I like it.
Let's bring it back to something universal, carving pumpkins. Seems so simple, right?
Yeah.
But it actually connects us to, centuries of tradition. Those ancient harvest rituals and the whole belief that the veil between worlds is at its thinnest. It's true.
We're all still carrying on that tradition, even if it's just to make a spooky face on a gourd. It's kind of amazing to think about, something so simple is now tied to over a century of filmmaking.
I know. And that's the beauty of it, right? Halloween, however you choose to celebrate it, it lets us confront the unknown, laugh at the things that scare us, find a little joy in the macabre.
It really is. It's like a powerful reminder, in a world that's obsessed with technology. Some traditions, they stick around. They adapt and they evolve right alongside us.
That's a great point.
So this Halloween, whether you're settling in for a good old-fashioned slasher or you're brave enough to try a VR haunted house, just remember, you're part of a long, spooky history.
You really are.
And the story of Halloween, much like the holiday itself, it's far from over.
Definitely not. It's just getting started. And on that note, we'll catch you on the next deep dive. Stay curious, friends.